Tchia is an action-adventure game that follows the journey of its titular protagonist, who explores a fictional archipelago inspired by New Caledonia to rescue her kidnapped father. The game's standout gameplay mechanic is soul jumping, which allows players to possess and control various animals and objects, each with unique skills that can be used to solve puzzles, explore new areas, and fend off enemies. The game's biggest highlight is its traversal mechanics. Wherever you're soaring through the air as a bird, swimming through the ocean as a fish, or even an object like a stone, where you can create a chain reaction that keep you airborne for a surprisingly long time. Tchia's acrobatic abilities also allow her to slide down mountains, climb trees, and use them to jump to greater heights. Additionally, with her glider and raft, she can navigate various terrains with ease and quickly travel between different locations. Although the story aims to convey a traditional message, it falls short in fully exploring the essential elements of the hero's journey and only touches upon them superficially. Furthermore, the inclusion of elements like baby eating by the antagonist introduces disturbing and unsettling themes that seem out of place in the overall context of the game. While there is a family mode option to negate the gore, the underlying tone remains, contributing to the inconsistent and sometimes uncomfortable storytelling experience. While a contrast in tone can be effective when executed properly, in Tchia it feels forced and lacks the cohesive narrative thread. Players can explore various points of interest to uncover a plethora of charming cosmetic items and engage in mini-games and races to also get trophies that you need for progression or to cash in a claw machine that also has cosmetic items. Those can be used to customize Tchia's appearance, glider and raft to create a more personalized experience. While the option to collect these items can be an enjoyable aspect to the gameplay, I personally felt that there was an excess of seemingly meaningless collecting, which didn't align to my preferences. But there are a few exceptions. For instance, one notable feature is rock balancing, that allows players to learn new soul melodies for Tchia's ukulele, enabling them to summon animals for soul jumping, to manipulate the time of day, and even influence the weather. Additionally, the game seamlessly integrates rhythm game elements into its story, and a delightful touch is the ability to freely play the ukulele, allowing for creative expression. One of the captivating activities is the exploration of totem shrines that are reminiscent of integrated dungeons. To gain access, players must obtain a totem key, which they carve themselves. The key's unique pattern is then engraved on the shrine's door. Beyond each door lies a distinct challenge, and successful completion rewards players with a soul plant, increasing the time the player can use the soul jumping ability. Regarding puzzles, what sounds like variety on paper turns out to be rather flat in execution. For example, players can possess a dog to dig up treasure maps, and that's the only function where it's used. That's the case on mostly any interaction that you need. So unfortunately, the intuition of the player is not really relied on here, because it's always the same approach. Of course, I'm aware of the size of a small indie studio that probably not more was possible here, but I would expect here that the game design would be better thought out, given the limitations that the team had. In terms of performance, the game is a mixed bag. Although technically sharper, the fidelity mode on the PS5 is not recommended due to frame pacing issues and ineffective motion blur. The performance mode offers smoother gameplay, but despite the texture-less visuals, it's surprising that the resolution is so low in that mode in my opinion. Despite this, the game graphics on itself still manages to deliver a stunning world that is a joy to explore. The founders of the studio had a deeply personal goal in mind when creating the game. Phil Griffo, one of the founders, stated that he and his brother wanted to recreate their childhood memories of exploring New Caledonia. This emotional connection to the setting is evident throughout the game and makes it unique. Personally, I would love to see more games and studios that explore different cultures in such a meaningful way. For this reason, even if I had some problems with it, I'm grateful for playing this title and learning about the culture it represents. Playing through the main story, the game offers around 8 hours of gameplay, during which the drawbacks may not be so noticeable. However, if you want to experience everything the game has to offer, you may start to feel fatigued after playing 22 hours, as many patterns are repeated. In such cases, I believe it would have been better if the developers had prioritized quality content over unnecessary distractions, following the philosophy less is more. Initially, Tchia appears to be a promising game with interesting gameplay mechanics, stunning visuals, and a sweet world to explore. While I recognize those strengths in the game, I also feel it's important to provide critical feedback in order to give a well-rounded perspective on the experience, at least what I had. Because it falls short in terms of the shallow and repetitive content found throughout the game world. I often found myself listening to podcasts while playing, as some tasks felt too tedious in the long run to complete. My suggestion, if you want to play the title, is to prioritize immersing yourself in the main storyline of Tchia to fully embrace the game's unique vibes. It's evident that the development team put a significant amount of effort into its creation. I remain optimistic that they will glean valuable lessons from the shortcomings, using them as building blocks to craft an even more remarkable game in the future.